to look at it before we head off this afternoon, okay?
I'm going to come round with it in the shotgun. Yeah. Just find out where Sam is.
He's making tea. Yeah. So he'll be in a minute, but he needs to get in.
Well, it'll start on time because we're
I know.
I'll just go and check those. Hi everyone. I'm going to put the tin out there, so if you want to just drop a donation in for the concert, that would be amazing. I'll just put it on the table. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. I'm doing the busking bit with the. Have you done some? It's there, is it? Ah, right. Okay. Fantastic. There was an emergency cup of tea needed to be made.
Watching on the live stream as well. My name is Rachel, and we are a quartet of saxophone players from the Isle of Skye called the Paint Shop 7 Quartet, and we are here on our first little tour of Lewis and Harris. So it's lovely to see you all. If you snuck in late there, we're doing this concert just by donation only, so there's a little tin somewhere just on your way into the church. So if you haven't popped something into the tin, please do on your way out. Hopefully you're going to enjoy just under an hour's worth of music that we're going to play for you today. But before we do that, I'm just going to introduce my very talented band members here. So on the far right-hand side, or left, if you're looking at the stage, is Lynn Anstis Brown on the baritone saxophone. And then playing this lovely bronze tenor saxophone is Mark Lear. And then just to my right here, on the alto saxophone, is our youngest member of the band. This is Tom Campbell. So we're going to play another tune for you now. This is a popular tune from 1939. It's a romantic song written about Berkeley Square in Mayfair in London. So as you've probably worked out, this is A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square. Okay, so we really love telling audiences a little bit about the saxophone and the really interesting history of the saxophone. There's quite a lot of myths flying about saxophones. And one of the biggest ones is that it's not a jazz instrument. It wasn't invented for jazz. It was invented in the 19th century by a Belgian instrument maker called Adolf Sax for the orchestra. He didn't like the bass reed instruments in the orchestra at the time. He called the bassoon feeble and said the bass clarinet had a general lack of strength. This is all in the patent for the saxophone. So he invented a bass saxophone to overcome some of those limitations, or so he thought. He says, this is his aspiration for the saxophone was to create an instrument that could combine the power of brass instruments, the agility of woodwind instruments, the sonority of string instruments, the range of a piano, and the flexibility of the human voice. So he's quite an ambitious guy, Adolf Sax. With all that being said, we thought that what we would do is play you a classical piece of music now. This is by a contemporary composer called Gavin Whitlock, and it's a suite in 3 movements called Celtic Suite. But the middle movement, Love Song, is a really beautiful ballad and hopefully shows off some of those qualities that I just mentioned. So this is the second movement of Celtic Suite. Okay, we're going to play a pop song for you now. And this one features Lynn on the baritone sax right at the end, so listen out. We're really lucky to have Lynn in the band, and she plays a really special saxophone. It's called Bertha, and she was made in 1917, which makes her 109 years old, this saxophone, so very, very special. Lynn is sort of responsible for this group starting out, because we all met playing in Sky Wind Band, which Lynn started about 4 years ago. She's been on Sky since 2013, and before moving up here and starting the Wind Band, she was a professional musician playing in pit bands and on cruise ships. And we went on a podcast recently, and the presenter described Lynn as the gravy of the group, because she sort of holds everything together. So yeah, enjoy listening to Lynn in this next piece.
Hello.
Hello, Mark. Thank you very much. Before we play our next tune, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my lovely colleague on my left, Mark.
Oh, oui.
Yes. Mark isn't the youngest member of the quartet. He plays tenor saxophone for us. He comes from a musical family, had lessons with his dad who taught him how to read music, and when he was at school he had singing lessons, and Mark has had a career singing in opera and operetta and musical theatre. He's played in dance bands and wind bands down in East Anglia, so he's a very competent musician. We're thrilled to have him in the quartet. Our next piece is a lovely arrangement of Henry Mancini's Moon River. This was originally performed by Audrey Hepburn in the 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it won an Academy Award for the Best Original Song. Hope you enjoy it.
So, time to tell you a little bit more about the saxophone. You might have noticed I started the concert playing the alto saxophone and then I switched to this. This is the soprano saxophone. Most quartets that you see playing saxophones will be this configuration: soprano, alto, tenor, baritone. Named very much so after those vocal ranges that Adolf Sax was attempting to imitate, as I mentioned earlier. And what you might not know is that there are more saxophones than these four. Adolf Sax invented 7 to begin with, And that's why when you get a lot of saxophones playing together, you get to hear a saxophone choir, as it's called. So there are actually 3 models of saxophone bigger than Bertha the baritone. There's a bass saxophone, a contrabass saxophone, and a sub-contrabass saxophone. So they're only about £35,000, so very easy to come by. And then there are 2 saxophones smaller than this one. There's a sopranino, which is about half the size, and then a soprillo, which is a tiny little thing. It's like a piccolo saxophone. So there's actually 8 models really floating about these days in the modern day. So Adolf Sax, he was a really brilliant inventor, but what he didn't do very well at was making himself popular with other composers and other musicians at the time. In fact, he made himself so unpopular that a few people tried to kill him. They really didn't like him. If you want some bedtime reading at some point, if you're feeling bored, go and Google Adolf Sax and just read about his life. He had quite an amazing life. So because he wasn't very popular, the saxophone, unfortunately, also didn't gain the popularity that he was hoping for within the classical music world. So it wasn't as readily adopted into the orchestra as he hoped. However, there's a lot of amazing contemporary classical music written for saxophone now, but there's also a lot of older classical music that's been arranged and reimagined for saxophone quartet, and I think it works really, really well. So this next piece that we're going to play you is one of those. It's a polka by Johann Strauss II, so originally written for strings from 1869. This is Pizzicato Polka.
We are now going to play you 3 folk tune inspired pieces. Up first is the first movement of Vaughan Williams' English folk song suite, which takes inspiration from popular English folk melodies. It was published for full concert band, including saxophones, in 1923, and this first movement is called 17 Come Sunday.
Thank you. We're turning to Scotland for our second folk song. Everyone on Skye knows this tune, but it's made especially popular in recent years with fans of the Outlander TV series. This particular version is an arrangement by Karen Street and features the tune on the soprano sax that Rachel is playing. Rachel is our leader of the quartet. When she's not busy playing saxophone, she's a great traveller. She travels around the world. And if you look at her water bottle on the stage, she has little stickers of all the places that she's been to. She's got the Isle of Lewis on there, the Isle of Harris on there, Tiree, the Isle of Skye. And here is our version of the Skye Boat Song.
So the third and final folk song is from Ireland, so I'm sorry about that. Brian O'Lynn was published in a collection of Irish street ballads in 1929. Other versions have since been penned, and in Scotland it is known as Tam o' the Linn. It's a comical song about a man who maintains an unflappable positive attitude throughout hardship and poverty, and he finds bizarre solutions to everyday situations. For example, even though his house is just a hole in a bog, he describes it as a fine habitation. So one such verse goes, Brian O'Lynn had no watch for to wear, so he got him a turnip and scooped it out fair. He then put a cricket clane under the skin. They'll think it's a tickin', says Brian O'Lynn.
So, back to something classical now, and this next piece by Debussy was originally composed in 1909 for piano. Debussy was, however, famously commissioned to write the piece for alto saxophone and orchestra in 1911, his Rhapsody for Saxophone, by the sax player Elise Hall, and apparently it was quite an unhappy collaboration. Debussy, suffering from burnout, called it a ridiculous instrument and a reedy animal with whose habits I'm largely unfamiliar. So, we're sure he'd be delighted to know his music is being so beautifully arranged for saxophones.
So we're going to fast forward 100 years now and arrive in the mid-1960s. This piece was penned in 1965 by Carol Bayer Sager and Tony Wine, and takes its melody from Clementi's Sonata No. 5, which was published in 1797. So the original rendition was recorded by American singing duo Diane and Anita in 1965, and then by the Mindbenders in that same year, and later, most famously, by Phil Collins in 1988. So this is a groovy kind of love.
We've just got one more piece to play for you before we finish. But if you clap loud enough, we may sneak another tune in. Before we play it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tom, our youngest member of the quartet. It's Tom on alto saxophone there. He's only 16. He's only been playing the saxophone for 3 years. And he's only playing the saxophone because he won a raffle prize in a Christmas concert that we did with the Sky Wind Band. And the prize was some lessons, music lessons with myself. So Tom had the option of learning any instrument. He thought he might try the saxophone. I don't think he knew what a saxophone was. But he's done incredibly well in 3 years, so much so that he is travelling down to Glasgow from the end of August to study at RCS, that's the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. He's joining their their junior department. So he'll be travelling down every week for lessons there. So yes, he's great. I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you. Also going to tell you a little bit about the group. Why are we called the Paint Shop 7? Well, for the eager eyes of you, there's only 4 of us here on stage. So the Paint Shop 7 is a breakaway group from Sky Wind Band. It's all the saxophone section and a couple of extras, really. So there's about the 7 of us in it, surprisingly. The clue's in the name, obviously. So we are a breakaway group from that. So a saxophone quartet playing much more complicated music, which we really enjoy. We've only been together as a quartet for about 4 months, I think now. We've done a tour in April over to the Uists and enjoyed it so much we thought we'd come and do another tour and spread our wings a little bit further. So here we are on Lewis and Harris. So thank you for supporting us today. It's really lovely to see you all. The name Paint Shop, why are we called the Paint Shop 7? Well, we held our first rehearsal in the Isle of Skye Paint Company shop. And we just thought it was a good name for a music group, the Paint Shop 7 Quartet. So here we are. So thank you for coming and joining us today. If you'd like to know a little bit more about us, finding out about concerts and what we're up to, do follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We've recently started an Instagram account. We've been doing lots of videoing this week to post reels. Oh, I don't know what a reel is, but it's on Instagram. You can find it. So yeah, just search for the Paint Shop 7 on those 2 platforms. So it's been a real pleasure to play music for you today. This is our last tune then. This is one of our favourite pieces. It's a Spanish flamenco tune called El Capeo.
Thank you so very much. We've had great fun today. As Lynn said, we are midway through a tour this week, so if you know of anybody who is on North Uist or South Uist or in Tarbert, let them know that we're coming down. We're going to Tarbert this evening, playing a concert at the community centre at 7 p.m, and then tomorrow we're in Grimsay, and then on Saturday we're in Dallowborough in South Uist, and then we're home on Sunday. It's gone really quick, hasn't it? So if you know anybody on the Uists, do let them know that we're coming down. We'd love to see people. Thank you to everybody who's joined via live stream as well. Hope you enjoyed that. I think there might be a link to donate in the comments somewhere if you spotted that. But yeah, we're going to give you one more piece to finish. This is a really fun jazz number, and it's called Bill Bailey.
Thank you.